Hola y buenos días. Bienvenido de nuevo a Reading Held Hostage. Me llamo Azul y me encanta leer. ¿Es tu parte, Justin?
Are you talking to me now?
Vale, en este episodio vamos a entender mucho sobre la vida secreta de Jacob Black. En el episodio pasado, Justin dijo que Jacob Black y una werewolf.
Okay.
Ahora vamos a ver qué es. Sea la verdad. ¿Qué piense?
So, for the people at home, I don't speak Spanish.
¿Qué?
At all.
No.
I did Spanish in kindergarten, and then they realized I was so bad at it, I should probably just do English tutoring. And then I failed French. And then German. Mm-hmm. And then I realized I should still work on English. Not really good at that one either.
Mm-hmm. Este es muy, muy triste.
Do you have a button I can press that like puts you back to English?
What do you think? I thought I did pretty good there.
I mean,
My accent
I
was
guess.
spot on.
I bet. I don't know.
Howdy, folks, and welcome back to Reading Held Hostage. My name's Blue, and I love to read.
And my name's Justin, and I don't speak Spanish.
And I did want to show off a little bit. I did write the script out, but I knew all of it, and I wrote it by hand, so not to brag or anything.
Okay.
You made a comment about me speaking Spanish last episode, and it reminded me that this was something I wanted to do.
Did I?
Yes. So.
Okay, I don't remember that.
Yeah. So.
I didn't edit that last episode.
No,
so.
I did. So I would apologize if there were any like ickies, but I don't apologize for things like that. So I think I did pretty well.
I would apologize, but fuck you.
But fuck you. So there's that. Asterix here, we're going to talk about our typical trigger warning thing, our intro for this, for New Moon in particular. As of 2016, the National Crime Information Center has reported 5,712 cases of missing American Indian and Alaskan Native women and girls. However, the U.S. Department of Justice Missing Persons database only reports 116 of these cases. The majority of these crimes are committed by non-Native people on Native-owned land. You can join the movement by going to Native Hope or Missing and Murdered Indigenous People. You can learn and share all you can. And specifically regarding the Quileute tribe, you can go to the Burke Museum, which is linked down in our show notes, or up in our show notes if you're on Spotify. I don't know how Apple works.
No, it's down in the show notes.
Yeah, so you can learn a little bit more about the Quileute tribe versus the interesting and portrayal from the book.
Quick question. So you did the Spanish intro really smooth.
Thanks, I thought I did too. Are you going to make fun of me for not being able to read that stat?
Yeah,
right?
are we ever going to get through that stat?
I speak Spanish better than I speak English.
Only when you're drunk.
Yeah, that's very true. But I can't say big numbers. Anything that's more than 999 totally fucking makes my brain skip.
Hey, me neither. Me neither.
Skip a beat. So, all right. Well, there's that. Justin, do you want to give us a little bit about what happened last time around? We just recorded it 2 nights ago.
Motorcycle crash.
Okay.
Yeah, motorcycle crash.
Is that it?
Motorcycle crash.
Okay. Can you say one more thing about what happened?
Motorcycle crash.
You're right. There was a motorcycle crash. And since this is our Thursday episode, I won't go too deep into it. But remember, Bella saw those crazy maybe horses in the woods.
So big. What could they be?
What could they be? They look like wolves, but too big. To be fair, I think that would break my brain a little bit too. But I just think it's so funny how long it takes her to actually get that. Like, all 4 of them, or 5 of them show up, and Bella's just like,
is that a horse?
I don't know what that is.
What kind of horse is that?
And then Jacob kind of broke up with her. He's in Sam Yuli's gang.
I'm too thick for you now.
Yeah, he's too thick. He's too swole. And she went to sleep, and the last thing we remember Justin, what's the last thing we remember?
Oh, yeah. I remember what we remember. Mm-hmm. So you tell us. I don't think you remember what we remember.
I remember what I remember.
Okay, well, I don't think so. So you got to prove it to me.
I don't need to prove it to you.
Okay, then we'll
just sit here in silence.
Just sit here.
That TikTok e-boy sound where it's like, hey, what up, I'm the alpha. That's me right now.
Oh, no.
I'm the alpha. She woke up to hearing scritches on her window.
Scritchy scritch.
So today we're going to start with chapter 12 and hopefully get to chapter 18. Where New Moon's going to be a 5-parter based on how we've done so far.
Yeah.
But we'll just get through what we get through in an hour's time. So she wakes up to the scritches. She's like, holy shit, it's Victoria. Which Victoria wouldn't need to scritch to get into your window, you would be dead.
Yeah. I don't think she would wake you up for you to fight back.
Yeah.
Even if you're just a puny human.
Yeah, I mean, she wants to torture you, so she'd wake you up when she was ready. But it's not Victoria, it's Jacob. Oh, one sec, I just realized I can't see a thing.
Wait, why is he scratching it?
Because he's teetering on the edge of a tree.
He's not knocking?
No, he's scritching. He probably doesn't want to wake Charlie up.
Oh.
But he jumps into the room from this tree. She's like, holy crap, he's going to die. And he's like, hey, I'm sorry. I'm really trying to keep my promise. And the promise was that he would never hurt her. And she's mad as shit, obviously, because he was really mean to her. Yeah.
Question for Jacob and Edward.
I don't have Jacob and Edward here.
Do you know about doors?
Hey, it's me, Robert Pattinson. No.
It's me, Robert Pattinson, isn't it?
Well, they don't want to wake Charlie up.
Yeah, but you could like text like, hey.
They don't have cell phones like that.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
He could email her. Hey, what's up? I'm outside your door.
I'm going to head over at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, no, I know it's 1 o'clock now. The Wi-Fi is really slow.
Hopefully this loads.
Yeah, literally. He keeps apologizing, saying he like can't say what the issue is and that it's a secret. And he can't share it with anybody because it's not his secret to tell.
Secrets are no fun.
Unless you share with everyone. So that's the part that's killing him, is that he's actually already told her. And he's like, oh my God, I found the loophole. You can guess what I'm trying to say.
That's not a loophole.
Yeah, it is.
Not really.
Why not?
Because if he affirms anything, he'd be telling her.
You don't understand.
Everybody, don't talk to a cop without your lawyer present. She's caught by proxy.
Me? Oh, Bella. Yeah. That's true. He's like, hey, give me 1 second. He's got to think about this. He's like becoming exhausted trying to say this. He's like physically panting and shaking. Like he's becoming exhausted trying to get these words out.
And then he starts going werewolf.
He's not a werewolf. You've got to stop. I listened to the pain in my voice last episode when you fucking spoiled it. I was fucking pissed. So listen to me.
Okay.
You're following my lead. You have 2 more.
Okay.
She figures it out soon. God, I'm mad at you. If you spoil anything. He reminds her of the forest on the day they met in La Push and the story he told her, but she only remembers the part that she cares about, which is the vampires. And she's like so tired.
Bitch.
She's like, Jacob, I can't remember any of what you're telling me.
Jacob.
She's literally like, I can't. And he's like, oh, you seem really tired. She's like, yeah, I'm so fucking tired. He does ask her one more question. He goes, the story I told you, like, was I the one who told you what they were? And she won't budge. She hasn't affirmed to him that she knows the Cullens are vampires. She's not budging, and he's like, see, that's exactly what I mean about loyalty. You have a secret you can't tell, and I have a secret I can't tell. And she's, again, really tired, but she's like, hey, let's just run away. And he's like, I can't. Like, it's a life sentence. I'm really sorry I hurt you. And when you figure it out, can you at least let me know and just give me a call if you never want to see me again? Just please, I just want you to let me know.
Wait, what's a life sentence?
What Jacob has. What's going on with Jacob.
Yeah, but also you could, like, not be there.
Yeah,
like, you could still have it and not be there.
And you can have it somewhere else.
Yeah.
He leaves, and she has a dream after he leaves about the beach and La Push, and Jacob and Edward are there, and then she watches as Jacob turns into a wolf, and she starts screaming at the top of her lungs. Hey! I'm gonna mute you. I'm recording. I'm editing from now on, and all your bits are getting X'd out. Ugh. Putting Bruno in front of them. She remembers the story and werewolf. And she gets all kinds of freaked out because how could Forks have both of these things? How could another one of her best friends become something that is not a human being?
Why are both my friends mystical beasts?
It's very, very early. It's like not even daybreak yet. And she decides to just go to La Push. And she just sits there. But before she leaves, she asks Charlie to be safe Charlie asks Bella to be safe because another hiker has disappeared. And this time around, the hiker was very close to the road, and his wife saw him disappear with a huge gray wolf right after.
Did they have to push the car?
And she's really worried
because...
Whoa,
come on. Come on!
She's really worried because the Rangers are going into the woods today to shark shooting.
Shark shooting? They're shark shooting?
Shooting. And she's worried that the wolves are killing people, and she doesn't know if she'll still like Jacob after knowing that about him. So Justin, my next question is, if somebody you knew was killing somebody, BFFs or no?
I would probably want to date them and give them big old smooches.
OMG. That you and Bella are like twinsies, dude.
Really?
Because that's exactly how she feels.
She says smoochy time.
Because in the next part, she goes, she was pretty sure if it was anybody but Jacob, she wouldn't be able to go warn them. Even though she can't condone this murder, she couldn't not say anything about it.
So it doesn't matter if the Cullens kill people, because she obviously doesn't give a shit.
She talks about that later. And she rushes into the house where Billy is, and Billy had just woken up from her knock. And she's like, I need to talk to Jake. And she wants, like, the werewolves to know that the men in town are hunting them. Jacob is asleep, and she opens his room all mad, but she sees him sleeping. And whenever she talks about Billy's house and eventually another Native American house she spent some time in, she very much so makes it clear that it is small, compact, and very dilapidated looking, because Jake is very big now. He's about 6'5", and even if they had the money in the world, it would still be hard to buy a bed for somebody that size.
Yeah.
But she makes it so very clear that this bed is so teeny tiny that Jake's just falling right off of it. And I'm like, well, that's interesting because you made that same comment about the kitchen and the living room and the whole house. So,
I mean, Native people do live in poverty at a higher rate than most.
Yeah, it just feels like she doesn't need to point it out every single fucking time.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Unless you're, like, actually making a productive statement with it.
Yeah. Or just, like, the first, like, the house is kind of small. It's like, okay.
Yep. Okay. Cool.
That is something that happens. But anyways, she feels uncomfy, hops back in the car, and tells Billy to let Jake know that she'll be down at the beach. She goes to the beach and finds the same spot.
And then she pushes her car to the beach.
Now I'm the one who doesn't want to record. They find the spot where Jake originally told her about the vampires and werewolves. And Jake arrives shortly after very quietly, and he's very glad she's finally figured it out. But based on her face, Jake's kind of like, oh shit, you're there to tell me you never want to speak to me again. And Bella's like,
stinky dog smell.
Stinky woof woof. Put those puppies away, quite literally, please. But Bella's mostly like focused on the fact that they're murderers. And she's like, can't you just try not to be a werewolf? Like,
do conversion therapy.
Yeah, is this some weird, like, conversion therapy? Can you just stop? Did you try not? You're too pretty to be a werewolf.
I bet they have something at the church for you.
But once Jacob kind of, like, he's getting pissed, he's shaking, all kinds of stuff. But once he realizes that Bella thinks he's killing people, he's happy because he thought Bella was disgusted by him being a werewolf. Not that
he's a werewolf?
I'm so mad at you, dude. Yeah,
Blue.
I'm literally... Listeners, I need a new co-host. So whoever hasn't read any of these books or has and can be productive, let me know. And doesn't spoil the book. Did I prank you? Did you think you were getting replaced? Did you think you were getting replaced?
Who's going to edit the podcast?
I edited all right last time around.
I know, but you don't want to.
No, it took a really long time. What was I saying? You made me lose my place. Yeah, so he's realizing that it's fine that he's a wolf. He's like, I don't kill people. And then he says, Bella, honey, we're protecting them from the vampires. I don't like to be called honey.
Sweet little dumb woman.
Which is like, 1, he's 2 years her junior, and 2, don't call people honey. So she starts to panic, but Jacob's like, we killed Laurent. And she's like, why are you worried about my safety then? And he's like, it's because I can get so angry I can hurt you. Does that make sense, what I just said?
He could just Hulk out.
Yeah, basically he can, like, she's like, wait, if you're not worried about the vampires hurting me, what are you worried about? And he's like, me.
Wait, why can't she do the Jurassic Park?
Like Chris Pratt, like,
Pratt.
whoa. We do have our clickers. Clicker train Jacob.
Clicker train Jacob. Sit.
Fetch. Kill that vampire.
Don't attack me.
Or you could Pavlov dog him and you can go, and then he transforms.
Oh. You can summon a werewolf with a clicker.
I think that would be really cool.
Dog whistle. Bad, Jacob.
That was my dog whistle. What'd you think?
People can't hear dog whistles, so it was actually probably not accurate.
So Jacob tells her that they killed Laurent a week ago, but somebody else is there. It's a female, and they don't know who she is. And she's killing people, and Bella's having a panic attack. Bitches, just be fucking murdering people, am I right?
Oh my god.
But Bella's having a panic attack because she knows who it is. She knows it's Victoria. And Jacob starts interrogating her because the men in her life don't know how to have a proper conversation.
No.
Although Jacob is a boy.
I mean, she doesn't really either.
No, she don't. And he's like, why is Victoria here and all that? And then Bella, like, gives the whole story that we already know. Like, she's there because Edward killed James, and Victoria wants to kill me now as revenge. And he's, like, really happy because he calls it intel to figure out what is going on. So he goes and calls a meeting. So he goes into the woods.
Caught by proxy.
Literally. And all the while, Bella's hyperventilating in the car, feeling like she's going to throw up. And Jake's like, wow, you're really scared, aren't you?
Yeah, someone's trying to fucking murder me.
And he's like, don't worry, we'll take care of you. And she's like, I haven't seen you guys do anything. All I know is that you've said you've killed Laurent.
And turn into horses.
They could be horses. They could be wolves. She has no idea. They could be a bear. Who knows?
It could be a moose.
That's true. Do you think they have meese up there? You wouldn't want to meese them.
No, I don't want to do the podcast.
He tells her, she was like, what the hell did you do in the woods? And he's like, yeah, okay, don't freak out. But when we're wolves, we can all see each other's thoughts. So when I want to call a meeting, I have to turn into a wolf and call them.
Cool.
Who needs arr when you have meow, 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 sending each other thoughts?
Sid and thought, meet me by car. My pants are off.
Ew. He's kind of freaked out that it didn't bother her, and she's like, yeah, you're not the first person who's been able to read thoughts that I know. Like, Edward has been able to do that. And Jacob's like, fuck, like, I was really hoping that was just a legend. Like, out of all this stuff, you're like, well, that's where I draw the line.
Yeah, that's like the stuff where, what was it? Carlisle was telling, or Edward was telling Carlisle's story. Whoever was telling Carlisle's story. And they were like, what's the point where she doesn't believe me? I'm like, I believe everything.
Yeah.
You just rocked my fucking world.
Yeah, what do you mean I'm going to draw a line somewhere? Like,
yeah, you just told me vampires were real and then proved it.
And then I'm going to be like, well, actually...
you didn't swim across the French Canal.
Yeah. You were so fucking obsessed with the French Canal.
People have done that.
You were obsessed with that.
Oh, it's me, Carlisle.
Oh my god. Jacob lets her know that since, like, her and him and his pals are in a pack, there's, like, this alpha sigma male, and Sam's the alpha sigma male, and they cannot ignore his thoughts and his orders. So that's why Jacob was struggling. Yeah, they're all, well, we all know there's not an alpha anymore, but Jacob starts...
They're all stupid, stinky betas.
Yeah, stupid. Maybe even an omega, if I might be so bold.
Yeah, I know what that means.
Sorry, that's a Julie of the Wolfpack reference.
Oh,
Jacob starts talking about how hard it must have been for Sam to have changed by himself, being all alone, because he was probably 16, so that was 5 years ago. And Bella can't get over how, like, she has this hatred for Sam in her heart based on how Jacob, like, portrayed him when she first learned about him, you know what I mean?
That he was terrified of him?
Yeah, that he was, like, genuine, and Quill was, like, crying so scared of him. But she does feel some sympathy because Jacob makes it clear that Sam really helped him through this and that it would be incredibly difficult to have no help through it. So they start talking about the Cullens, and Jacob's like, do you ever feel like you're better without him? And she's like, please don't talk about it. I can't handle that.
Yeah.
And they arrive at the clearing ready to meet the wolf, maybe bear, maybe horse pack.
Could be a meese.
Could be a whole pack of meese.
A whole flock of
A
meese.
whole flock of meese. Get out of there, meese incoming!
To be fair,
Yeah, get out of there if there are moose incoming.
Moose are, or I don't know the plural of moose, actually.
It's moose.
Like fish?
Yeah. Well, fish could be fishes.
I thought fish was fish.
It's a lie. It's grammatically correct to also say fishes.
Oh, I hate this language.
Podemos hablar en español si tú quieres. Am I right? Fist bump. Justin just got up and he started doing jumping jacks. He was so excited.
Oh, yeah. Me. I'm killing
Yeah. Oh my
it.
God, he just ran a mile.
Oh, shit. Oh, no. I wore a hole in our carpet going so fast.
All right, chapter 14. So remember how I made you sit down the other day? You're just going to have to take a second because out of the woods come 4 half-naked boys, naked on the top half.
They're Donald Ducking out the woods.
And they look like quadruplets. That's how similar they look.
Can we?
They move in synchronization, and they have the same black hair. All of them quickly get mad when they realize that Bella is also there. And one of the boys, who's either Paul or Jared, because she knows who Sam is and she knows who Embry is now, start throwing a fit. And he gets so mad he starts to shake. And the boys around him are like, come on, Paul. Paul, stop. They're like, now you've done it, Jake.
We're werewolves, not swearwolves.
Well, Paul does shift into a massive silver werewolf. And in the same...
Pantaloons.
They rip. Give me a second, you'll hear about the pants.
Okay.
In the same second the boys start to shift, Jacob runs mid-stride and he turns into a large russet fur, huge, maybe horse, maybe wolf. And this wolf is clearly larger and has the upper hand than the silver Paul wolf.
Jacob wolf or the other wolf? Who just turned into a wolf?
Jacob and Paul just turned into a wolf.
And who has the upper hand?
The silver wolf is Paul, and Jacob is the russet wolf. Russet wolf. Too many fucking S's for me right now. And the russet wolf, which is Jacob, clearly has the upper hand. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Get your head back in order.
Sally shells seashores on the... Do it?
Sally sells seashells by the seashore.
Sally sells Oh, we gotta practice, Blue.
Maybe we'll learn one day how to speak properly.
That'll be one of our anchor ads. Is just us saying that and anchor.
Where was I? So Sam yells at the boys, the other 2 boys who've not shifted, to take Bella to Emily's, and he's like exasperated, like, ugh, following the other, like the fighting wolves into the woods. You know, like, oh my God, really again?
These boys.
Not like this is mortal danger.
Yeah.
So the 2 boys who are left with her are obviously Jared and Embry. She knows Embry.
Okay.
That was one of Jake's friends previously. It was PC before change, or BC before change. And they're in a good mood. They're not super affected by that. They're laughing and picking up the scraps of clothes that came off Paul and Jacob.
Do they just have pants like hidden around the
They talk
forest?
about that later, but I don't know. So I remember learning when I first read it that they would carry like little knapsacks worth of clothes. But they actually end up making a joke while they're picking up. They're like, oh, like picking up a broken shoe. They're like, Billy's not buying him another pair. He told him that was his last pair. Which, like, dude, just kick your shoes off.
Yeah.
Because
wear slides everywhere.
Yeah.
Just slide
them right off. Just wear like fucking leaves, or you don't even need to be wearing shoes. They don't need to be wearing shoes.
Yeah.
They do need to be wearing pants because they live in a human society.
Yeah. Put that willy away. Put that willy away. What that willy doing out?
So they do that, and then they're like, Bella looks like they're gonna throw up, or Bella looks like she's gonna throw up. So Embry drives her car, and they kind of like they're just fucking joshing. They're like, Embry's like, I bet Bella won't throw up on the way, and Jared's like, bet.
Bella looks like they're gonna throw up.
Yeah, Bella looks like they're gonna throw up. And Embry in the car, Embry asks how Jacob was able to let her know like about the situation, and she goes, he didn't, I guessed. And Embry goes, yeah, well, that'll do it. There's a lot of characters now. I feel like I'm reading Warriors again.
There's Jacob. Mm-hmm. There's Emery. There's Fireheart.
It's Embry. I know you're making a joke, but his name is important because it's Embry with a B.
Okay.
Okay, you can keep going on your joke.
No, it's fine now.
Okay,
it's okay now.
Well, it wasn't funny in the first place, so kind of just felt.
I'm
like
the alpha. I'm the
wolf.
Sigma
male.
Damn.
Yeah,
she got me.
But so Embry was like, "Are you okay with us killing the dark-haired vampire in the field? Like, we were kind of worried. Like, we didn't want to break the treaty since we were on the Cullens' land, and we were worried that it might have been a relative of the Cullen." She was like, no, thank you for killing Laurent. That fucking rocked. And she's like, how do the Cullens break the treaty? And Embry tells her that the Cullens will break the treaty if they bite somebody.
Oh, okay.
So there's that. And Embry tells Bella that Emily is Sam's fiance, and Embry goes, hey, don't stare at Bug Sam. So they arrive at Emily's cabin. I sound so fucking Midwestern.
We arrive at her cabin, and we stay the whole night, and we play cornhole.
Fuck, I love cornhole. I'm really good at it, too. Okay, ready? So this is going to make you want to get inside your own belly. You're just going to kind of crawl in there because they can tell, like, the boys can tell Emily's cooking, like, they smell it. And Emily is a very beautiful woman who has satiny copper skin and long black hair, but she's so ugly because the right side of her face is scarred from hairline to chin, and it puts her face in a permanent grimace.
Is this a quote?
Not the whole. I mean, it actually is a quote, yeah. I made the ugly part.
Okay.
That would be really fucking
what
mean.
The fuck?
But that's the, like,
the
vibe.
feeling,
yeah, is that she's, like, so pretty.
Fucked up.
Yeah, but, like, the scar completely makes her ugly as shit and not worth, like, being a human. Kind of like how Bella was like, I'm condemned.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Emily is broken because she has a scar on her face. I mean, it's a pretty gnarly fucking scar. I'm not going to argue with that. But contrary to popular belief, shit like that doesn't make you less than a human being.
Yeah.
So Emily's just there doing lady work, cooking for everybody. And let me remind you that this kitchen is so small.
So small. The house is so small.
Which it is relevant in this case because she's going to have 5 6'5" muscled boy men in there. And then it's her and Bella vibing.
What if they just like tiny homes and like...
That'd be fine,
she just
but again...
doesn't know that it's a tiny home.
Yeah, again, they're 6'5" though.
Yeah.
And they're all buff as shit, so... She's doing the lady work. Sam walks in and she gives her a kiss and they're clearly in love. And Sam gives Emily a sweet kiss on her ruined mouth.
What?
He like specifically kisses the scar on her mouth and then gives her a mouth kiss.
That's not what it said in the book.
Verbatim.
That can't be what it says in the book.
So Paul and Jacob come back totally fucking fine, and Jacob like gives everybody the lowdown on the Cullens and what Bella knows. So they decide to change their pattern to try to catch her, Victoria. And
they're gonna get Bella.
And Embry kind of makes like a little joke that, don't worry guys, like we can split our ranks more evenly soon because Quill has to be close to joining us. So there's only 5 of them, so they were gonna split evenly, but they can't because 5 don't split evenly.
Can't play ultimate frisbee with those numbers,
no,
baby.
You can't. So Embry like makes that joke, and Bella can like instantly tell that all the boys do not want Quill to join. Even if they're okay with their fate, they do not want other people to join, and it makes them sad to think that Quill might be joining them.
Yeah.
Which Obviously, you can tell considering he's fucking 6'5" and identical to all of them.
Yeah.
I don't like that our good friend Steph made all the boys identical. Like, they could still be big and have different aspects.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not all people who are large look identical. Like, Bella multiple times calls them, like, quadruplets and all that kind of crap. And it's
I'm confused. If wolf, why not identical human?
Even their wolf their fursona is not even identical.
Oh, no. Oh, Blue.
Their fursonas aren't even identical to each other.
I don't like that.
You can't tell me that they all look so identical that Bella can't tell them apart from a distance when they look very different as wolves, which means they have different identifying features. You hear you know what I'm saying? Like, she's just being racist and not letting them, like, not giving them identifying features. That's my perspective on this.
That it's just like, all these people kind of look the same.
Yeah, and she's not making an effort up to this point to identify any of them based on anything. So,
cool move, Steph.
Well, that's what I perceived it as. I wonder if other folks felt the same, but based on what I've read on Stephanie's on how the Quileute tribe reacted to this, that is also something they kind of felt like why are all the boys half naked all the time? Yeah. I get that they turn into wolves, but like we were saying, put some slides on. Get a fucking button-down t-shirt, fucking wear like just like the cheapest like Fruit of the Loom shirt from the Goodwill.
Yeah.
Like, they don't have to be designer shirts and jeans.
Also, this tribe has been, like, in Steph's universe, been turning into wolves for a very long time. Mm-hmm. You don't think they would have figured this out by now?
Yeah. And then also it's like...
Because they also live in Forks, Washington.
It's fucking cold.
It gets cold.
It's almost spring break and at this point in the book, which is what? Late April? So it's just starting to turn warm here in Ohio. Barely. Yeah. We might still get snow. And they're in the Pacific Northwest, so they get some coverage from the actual, like, uber cold, but they do get cold. So you're telling me that it's more reasonable in this world that these group of 5 nearly identical adult boy men go around shirtless in shorts than it is for them to put on a cheap Goodwill shirt?
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make any sense. Totally, like... if I saw 4 boys, or if I saw one single boy, girl, anybody.
Dude. Shirts with Velcro seams.
That's a great idea. Look at that.
Yeah.
You're telling me that makes less sense? Like, it just feels like that is specifically, like, the stereotype right now. It's like, girl.
They couldn't figure this out.
Yeah. They couldn't figure this out, and they're just so wild and crazy that they're naked all the time.
Yeah.
When in reality, it's, like, covered by them being werewolves.
Yeah.
Like, I get where she was coming from.
Snap closures. Tear away pants. Like,
taking your shirt off?
Yeah.
Putting your shoes off?
I mean, I definitely get, like, needing the reaction time.
Yeah, and actually they say that Jake is one of the only ones at this point in time who can shift on the fly. So he shifted mid-jump. Yeah. It took Paul, like, a hot minute. And he had to stand where he was and he shifted.
He was like,
yeah. So, like,
revving up.
Yeah. And I don't know. It just kind of got me fired up because, like, when I was reading the Burke Museum thing, they kind of noted that, like, why are they fucking shirtless all the time? Even in the movies.
Yeah.
Put a cheap shirt on. Literally.
Or they would have had something figured out by now.
Yeah. They've been...
They wouldn't just be walking around shirtless. Do you know, like... how much attention that would draw?
I was just saying, if I saw one child, one teenager, no matter the gender, race, ethnic, nothing, shirtless in the middle of, like, the winter, I would call CPS.
Yeah.
I would follow that child. I wouldn't get them because it could be human trafficking.
Yeah.
They might be getting me. But I would call CPS. I would call the police. Be like, yo, what the fuck?
Like, there's a kid out here freezing to death.
Mm-hmm. Even if they are a teenager. I see a teenager in, like, a little sweater and it's, like, freezing out. And I'm like, where's their big coat? They need a big puffy jacket.
Yeah.
And it's just, it makes me so upset that this was the solution, Stephanie's solution to the problem. Just have them be naked, half naked the whole time.
Well, they, like, their body heat is, like, really intense, so they don't
But they don't feel like We'll get to the body heat thing. So we'll end this rant. But let me know if you feel the same way about them being... I mean, don't get me wrong. When I was a kid and I watched the movies, I was like,
Yeah.
Oh, they look kind of tasty. But as an adult now...
It's like, what were you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah. So... Before... Oh, yeah, sorry. Here's where we were. So Sam says it might be best if Bella ends up in La Push a lot more often so that the scent kind of gets a little messed up, because La Push is about 15 minutes away from Forks.
Yeah.
And she's, like, worried about Charlie, but they think that Harry and Billy, his friends on the reservation, can get him up there because March Madness is going on.
Are they trying to... push Victoria into the area?
And so before she can make any decision, Sam goes, wait. Like, you have to make this choice. You have to take time to think this over. This is going to be dangerous, and we might not be able to protect you.
What did you think of my joke?
So I thought it was really neato that Sam immediately, like, was like, you need to consent to this.
Yeah, the only person in the book that's done that so far.
Well, remember, Alice did ask that one time if she could pick up Bella.
Cool.
And Bella's actual comment was, wow, you're the first person to ask me that.
I hate these books, Blue.
I really like Sam so far.
And Sam seems cool, but I hate these books.
I do too. Also, how do you think Sam got rid of that meth dealer? Do you think he would just, like, went as a human and scared the shit out of him? Or do you think he gave him a fucking PTSD with, like, wolf mode?
I mean...
I hope it was the wolf mode, because selling meth to kids is not a joke.
It's not a joke, but, like, also... a 6 foot, 5...
They're all about
buff
6'5".
shirtless dude comes to me and is like,
In the middle
you
of
better
winter?
fucking stop selling meth here.
I'd be like, are you sure you're not on meth?
I'm gonna move out. I'm gonna move out of town.
Yeah. So she's worried about, like, the boys. She's like, can you guys please be careful? And they all just, like, laugh at her. Like, nobody's like, don't worry about us. Like, we'll be, like, I mean, they say that, but, like, in a jokey manner, but they don't, like, explain, like, I know you're used to, like, the vampires, but, like, here's what we are. Like, you do not need to worry about us. So she spends the day at Billy's and chills with them till Charlie shows up with pizza. And Charlie's, like, really confused about, like, clearly the physical changes that have gone with Jacob.
It's like, hey, why'd you grow 8 inches
in the
last
7-ish months now,
yeah.
I think. Which is concerning. That is a lot of... And he put on, like, bulk muscle, which you don't really do just cash. You do have to work for muscle, even when you're a teen boy.
It's me, teen boy.
I
solve crimes with adult man.
I'm not sure I like... If I was the police...
teen boy and adult man.
I'd be very focused on that combo. When they get home, Charlie's like...
That's Batman.
That is Batman.
That's Batman.
Teen boy and adult man. That's literally any superhero with a sidekick.
Yeah.
It's me. And nobody was like, are we sure Batman should have 3 little boys all around the same age at different times?
More than that.
Yeah.
And a lot of them die.
And a lot of them are around the same age, right?
Yeah.
When they get home, Charlie's like, yo, what was up with that? And she's like, I don't know. And he's like, you literally told me, like, you thought he was in a cult. Why are you vibing now? And she's like, I was wrong. But she goes, hey.
They got me too.
She's like, what happened to Emily? And Charlie says that Emily was mauled by a bear about a year ago. And Bella kind of puts 2 and 2 together and knows that it had to have been Sam who mauled her, which is really sad because they're engaged and Sam clearly loves her. But I think this is to point out that they can lose their temper and harm at any point.
Get mauled, stupid.
Yeah. Get mauled. At bedtime, she's kind of, like, worried, like, if Edward was a killer, like, would I have not loved him? She goes, nah, probably I would have still, because love is so irrational.
Oh my god. Hey, Blue, if you kill someone, it's donezo.
Yeah, my love is not conditional.
You mean it is conditional?
Yeah, that's what I mean, sorry.
Yeah. All love is conditional.
Yeah.
For me, at least, if you fucking murder someone.
You hear that, Bruno? Our cat Bruno?
Yeah. Baby boy Bruno, if he kills someone.
If he kills a bunny, honestly, I'd probably freak out.
Yeah.
She dreams this time round because bitch is always dreaming, and she's in the forest holding Emily's hand, and they're, like, anxiously awaiting their werewolves to come home.
When will my werewolf return from the war?
It's
The werewolf.
The werewolf. Chapter 15, it's spring break in Forks again, and for the second year in a row, Bella is being hunted by a vampire. Great. That's hot.
Cool.
And she's falling into a quick pattern with Jacob and the group of people on the reservation. She also kind of notes that when they walk around, Jacob holds her hand, and it's like, oh,
No touching.
gross. And they're all hanging out at the Black and Yuli's household when Jacob and her go to get some privacy. And I was like, why do you need privacy?
What doing?
Literally. And he tells her he needs some serious sleep. And Bella asks, like, Jacob about the heat thing, like, because he's always warm, and apparently it's a werewolf thing, and they run 108 degrees.
What the hell?
Which, if you don't know about 106 degrees Fahrenheit, your brain's
cooking.
dead.
Yeah, you're cooking your brains.
If you're at 104, that's emergency room temperature.
Yeah.
Like,
Let's dump you in a fucking ice bath temp.
your body does not react well to anything over 101, which is why that's the fever number.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, that's a wolf thing. Also, is healing. And then he goes, do you want to watch me cut my arm open? She's like, whoa, 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 whoa. No.
No, you're too pretty.
Yeah. She asks some more questions, like, why are you guys all so fucking gigantic? Is that a wolf thing? He's like, yeah. And he's like, is that why?
No, that's the HGH.
No, sorry, that's the human growth hormone. And she goes, is that why you guys are worried about Quill? Because he's fucking Jack now, too? Which is true. And Jacob gives some history. Yeah, that's one reason, but also the second reason is that Quill's grandfather says that he runs really hot too, so they like kind of all know that it's gonna happen. There's no exact age, and apparently it just happens, but when you're angry, you can really trigger it. And that's why it took Jacob so long. He wasn't fucking angry at anything. He just was like happy. And he's like, the reason I was happy was because I was with you, but after the movie they went to, when Bella got the stomach flu.
When she got the stomach flu. The feud in the stomach was so bad.
That is what it feels like. When he came home, Billy just goes, you look weird. And then Jacob just fucking went ape shit. He was like, I almost hurt my dad. I almost hurt one of the people I loved the most because I turned into a werewolf. And he also
stinky. Wolf it.
He says it's really easy for him to be a wolf because his grandfather, it's weird lineage. They say his father's grandfather, and I'm like, just say paternal great-grandfather.
Wouldn't it be great?
No. It's his father's grandfather, which would be his paternal great-grandfather. Was Ephraim Black, we've already discussed that. But his maternal great-grandfather was also Quill Atera. He goes, yeah, the Quill you know, my friend Quill is actually my second cousin. Which, like, who the fuck keeps track of that stuff? Probably groups that are so small that they might have inbreeding problems.
Incest when it's human split.
These two great-grandfathers were in the last pack, and also so was Levi Yuli, Sam's great-grandfather.
Yeah.
So this is why they're like, Quill, Sam, and I, we never had a chance. Like, that's why it's so easy to me. It's coming from both groups of my
You're wolf
lineage.
all the way down,
yeah,
baby.
I've got the lineage. It's coming right down. Which,
are there lady wolves?
No
lady wolves?
Not so far.
Seems a little sexist that there's no lady wolves.
She couldn't be shirtless. Fuck! Literally, she wears a shirt. There is a lady wolf in the next book.
Yeah?
Or in one more book. And she wears a shirt. Because it would be fucking weird if she went out without a shirt. Not because she's got boobs, but because she'd be out without a shirt.
Yeah. They would have figured this out by now.
They literally would have.
They would have figured it out. Like, they're...
Honestly, just wear a dress. Just wear a big dress. Can you imagine? Like an expanding dress, like a maternity dress, that when they turned into their big horse wolves, they just stayed in the dress, and then they looked cute, and they were big horse wolves with little big dresses on.
Furries? You mean? Are you talking about...
They talk more about being a wolf, and he says the best part is that he just goes so freaking fast.
Oh, I'm so fast.
Just as fast as those stinking vampires. And he asks, like, vampire questions, and she gives him the lowdown on why Victoria wants to kill her, and how Edward took the venom out of her last round, last spring break. He starts getting angry. They talk about how Jasper can control emotions, and Alice can see the future. And she starts to have a panic attack when he asks about this stuff. And he's like, it hurts you to talk about them. And then they joke about being such a messed up peer to people.
Well, trauma does breed humor.
Yeah. She starts freaking out after seeing Sam and Emily being so in love. And he's like, okay, let's like do something different tomorrow. Let's go do something fun. Let's go cliff diving. And they arrive back at Billy Black's house. And Jacob doesn't meet her outside. Or the next day she arrives at the Black household and Jacob doesn't meet her. And Billy says that they smelled Victoria last night and they think they have a really good chance of getting her. And
I'm gonna get her.
Bella's like, oh my God, that's so scary. And Billy's like, oh, okay, like they'll be fucking fine. It's his son.
It's 5 werewolves v1.
But also like it's his son. He should have at least some semblance of paternal fear.
Yeah.
I don't care how strong my kid is. I'm going to be like,
If they're going into a death match, I'm going to be a little worried.
He reassures her that they're just as strong as the vampires. And she goes to the beach. She can still, it's going to, beach. It's going to storm. It's too many S's.
They're going to go to the beach and it's going to storm.
Soon. Because there's no animal sounds on the beach. And she decides to go cliff diving since she was pretty set on seeing Edward that day anyways.
Yeah.
So she ends up at the tallest cliff for jumping and hears, I just need you to hold on for a minute. Hold on to the reins. She hears his voice. And it was only when he was mad or disapproving of her that she really had her good hallucinations. You know how you miss your partner so much that the only realistic dream you can have of them is when they were fucking mean to you?
When they were...
What?
When they were...
Are you saying I'm so mean?
No, when they're...
What? You're so inappropriate.
Yeah, that sounds like, what is it called? Abusive relationship.
Yeah, toxic emotional abuse. So she's like super excited and she jumps into the water. And she starts freaking out. What?
Is she by herself?
Yep.
You don't...
Nope.
Does she know how to do that? Because there's ways to do that.
No, she doesn't know what the hell she's doing.
Like, there's only certain safe ways to do that.
Yeah. And, I mean, the boys she saw cliff diving, again, she went to the tallest part, which is where they were, but they are werewolves with supernatural healing abilities.
And they know the area.
Yeah, they know the area. They've jumped from the bottom to the top. Like, they didn't start at top.
Yeah.
So she's freaking out. And there's a storm coming.
Yeah.
So it breaks when she jumps. And she can't tell how to get back up to the top of the water. And this isn't like pretty, lovely ocean with beautiful clearness. This is fucking Forks, Washington water. It's black. You cannot see.
Freezing.
Yeah, black and freezing. It's cold as shit. She can't figure out which way's the top. But she's like kind of there in the water, like not really doing much, honestly. She's just kind of chill. And Edward's there like begging her to continue to try to move. But she's kind of happy to drown. It's peaceful and better than the other ways that she was going to die.
Hey, bud. No, it's not.
Plus, she gets to see Edward this time. Then she gets fucking yeeted into a big rock. And the air gets pushed out of her lungs. And as she sucks in the water and falls to the ocean floor, all she can think is, goodbye and I love you.
I'm sorry. I almost
Is that you getting rid of the water in your lungs? All right. So chapter 16, she doesn't die, duh. But Jacob is pulling her out of the water. He's giving her chest compressions and begging her to breathe. And he says, Bells, honey, can you hear me?
Please breathe, Bella. Please.
But the Bells, honey, can you hear me made me like go ill because it's something Charlie has said before. So Charlie's the only one that calls her Bells. And Charlie's her dad. And he's also the only one that calls her honey besides Jacob. So it's kind of giving me this weird role reversal weird. Daddy thing. Yeah. Like he's older so he can do that. Yeah, so I don't like that. She can hear Sam ask how long has she been unconscious, but they don't know. And the answer should always be never. None. No amount of time they were unconscious. Because unconscious is your body's last resort. And it goes, I can't.
Yeah.
So that's really bad. She sobers up enough to tell Jacob that the only spot she hurts is in her throat. And she hears that Sam is going back to the hospital. She's like, why? But she can't like really compute anything. So Jacob,
drowned a little bit.
Yeah, she just drowned a little. And she was unconscious. And I think they actually say she was unconscious for like 2 to 3 minutes.
Oh, also, fun fact. You could drown without dying.
Yeah.
Like, drowning is just like water asphyxiation. Like, it's not.
Yeah.
And
I would argue that she drowned without dying, because being unconscious for 2 to 3 minutes after being pulled out of the water is intense.
2 to 3 minutes?
She would have been dead.
Or fucking serious brain injury.
And again, she got tossed into a rock.
Like, she
fell unconscious. So we don't know if she would have fallen into multiple rocks.
No, she'd probably have, serious permanent brain damage.
Yeah. We're not diagnosing or anything, but, like, the realisticness of jumping off a cliff, getting shoved into water and hit by a bunch of rocks, and then drowning and being unconscious for 2 to 3 minutes is...
all in, 50 or below water.
Yeah.
Which is...
she's turning purple at this point.
Yeah, your body does not need to be freezing for you to go into hypothermia.
Mm-mm. So her body's probably yeah, her body's like, I'm literally done with you.
Yeah.
I'm fucking done with you.
I'm surprised she didn't go into shock when she hit the water.
I know. Especially because she didn't even, she was just wearing her regular clothes.
Oh my God.
She wasn't even wearing, something to keep her warm. Cool. But don't worry, because Jake is really warm, so she cuddles up to him on the way home.
Oh, he's hot.
And he's
literally hot.
Literally warm. Oh, he's literally hot.
He literally would be in the hospital if he had that temperature.
He's completely frantic and goes, "Don't do any more dumb shit unless I'm around," which clearly.
Don't go dumbo mode without me, dog.
Her voice is all hoarse, and she's sounds like a chain smoker. Or it could be all wolf. I don't know.
I thought they were good at singing.
Did you hear me?
What?
I made my joke first.
Oh, damn. What'd you say?
I said her voice is all hoarse, or it could be all wolf. I don't know.
I
thought that one was really
now my
good.
joke. Now we're taking turns?
Okay.
Okay, my joke was, you said she sounds like a chain smoker.
In a negative way.
Yeah, and I was like, I thought they were good at singing.
I thought mine was better.
Okay, well, I'm Justin and I hate to read.
No. She learns that they chased Victoria into the water, and he was kind of coming around to check on her and let her know. But also because Victoria was in the water, she could have looped around.
Mm.
I don't get it. She learns that Harry Clearwater had a heart attack that morning, and everyone's at the hospital, including Charlie, and it does not look great right now. Jacob and her end up falling asleep, and Bella dreams. She has a normal dream for the first time in a long time. And her last dream is about Juliet, and she wonders if what Juliet would have done if Romeo had lost interest in her. But she knows in her heart that Juliet would never have gone on with her old life, and she would never have been happy again. So suicide was the only answer for Juliet, is kind of what she comes to the conclusion of.
If Romeo fucking around with other hoes, I'm gonna kill myself.
Romeo was fucking around with other hoes.
I didn't read it. But
why?
I didn't want to.
Too strong to read.
Too strong, too buff.
She then wonders
too much of an alpha.
Juliet would have married Paris, who she was engaged to. And she's kind of relating this Romeo and Juliet thing to her, Jacob, and Edward. And she's wondering if there would ever be a chance to love Jacob the way Jacob loves her. And she starts to wonder if she would be able to give up her hallucinations of Edward's, but she can't make any decisions. Something is nagging her in the back of her mind, and she starts thinking of when she was drowning. She kind of remembers a little bit of something like fire on the waves. But she can't really, dig deep into it, because then Billy gets dropped off. And they quickly tell from his face that Harry has passed away.
Oh.
So that's unfortunate.
Are they wolves?
Who?
The papas.
No, there was a generation without.
Oh.
So there was the first generation when the Cullens came round, and that was Ephraim Black, Quillatera, and Levi Yulee.
Wait, there's only been 2 generations?
No. These are the past generations that we know of at this point. So it was those 3 when the Cullens first came round. Yeah. They made the treaty. Then there's been 1, 2 generations between, and then the current generation.
Weird.
What?
Do you think fucking something supernatural like being a werewolf would
They only get triggered into being a werewolf if there are vampires around. So the original 3 were triggered into becoming werewolves by the Cullens, just as these 5 have been triggered into becoming werewolves.
Okay. I thought the Cullens come there like pretty regularly though, not like
Regularly
every
being
2
like
generations.
Well, they've come there before.
Once before.
Yes.
Okay.
So Harry has passed away and Charlie's at the hospital with Sue, his wife. Bella's doing okay, still doesn't feel well, since she fucking drowned.
Yeah.
And Jacob goes back to the beach to get her truck and drives her home.
Pushes the truck.
Shut the fuck up. While driving, she thinks if she could commit to Jacob despite being so broken, and if she would ever be able to give the rest of her broken, shattered heart to Jacob.
This is giving me big Hot Topic vibes.
She would never be able to love him as much as she loved Edward, but she could try. Which, don't force yourself to like somebody else or love somebody else. This makes me so ill in my tummy. Pisses me off. Before she can make a decision, they're at her house and he gives her a hug and he actually says, I know you don't feel the same way I do, Bells, which again is what her dad calls her, but I swear I don't mind. I'm just glad you're okay. Totally reasonable there. He's acknowledging.
Yeah.
What? You look like you don't agree with me.
I zoned out for the last couple seconds.
So what did I just say?
Something about bells. I really just...
So they're hugging. She's thinking of kissing the side of his shoulder when she hears the words, "Be happy" from Edward. And before she can do anything, Jacob stiffens and pulls the car out of the driveway.
Shit, he's stiff.
He says there's a vampire, but before he can go too far, Bella can see a sexy black car. And despite not being an autophile, she knows it's a Mercedes S55 AMG. She also knows it's Carlisle's car. What is Steph doing with the cars?
It's not a Volvo, though.
Why is she so obsessed with the car? Why? I think it's just to show off their wealth. Maybe that's a good car, but how would a 13-year-old know that?
What? 13?
Well, it's 9 to 13 was the first age range this was released for.
Oh. Yeah.
The target is young girls.
Young girls always buying luxury vehicles.
Yeah, I do. She yells at Jake to stop, but he's all fired up from the vampire, and he's close to phasing. But she's like, I really need to see Carlisle.
Oh no, he's in Phase Clan.
Jacob gets fussy and mad, and is like, you need to take yourself back. I can't go back. That's my enemy in there. I have to go tell Sam right away. We can't be in the Cullens' territory if they're back. I hope you don't die. That's the vibe I got from him.
Well, can't they just go over and make sure that it's him? It could just be
it could be Victoria in there.
Yeah, Victoria stole a car, and it happens to be the same car as.
And that's what Jacob's like. It
Cullens.
Could be Victoria, and she's like, "Yeah, why don't you come with me?" He's like, "I can't." You don't know.
Yeah.
So
hey, if it's not, you just saved Bella. If it is, oops, sorry,
messed up.
I thought you were a murderer that we've been tracking down.
I'll get out of here.
Yeah, I'll get out of here.
Oop. And she gets into the house terrified, lights off. And then right then she puts 2 and 2 together that it was Victoria in the water and that she could have been killed then and there. And as she's putting this together, the lights flick on and somebody's there.
Dun, dun.
I think that's where we're going to end it. We did not.
On a cliffhanger.
On a cliffhanger? Cliff from the one.
And I'm
village
Justin. I hate to read.
Thank you, folks, so much for listening to Reading Held Hostage. New Moon's obviously going to be a 5-parter now that
Or a 6-parter. Who knows? Maybe we'll just fucking rant for half an episode.
I got a lot to say. Follow us on Twitter at Reading Hostage. Subscribe and follow us on YouTube at Reading Held Hostage.
Find us everywhere at Reading Held Hostage besides Twitter.
Yeah, it was too long.
Yeah.
Turn on our post notifications. Leave us a review. Reviews are super appreciated.
Super duper.
On Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to this podcast. Don't forget that we only accept 0 or 5 stars.
Yeah, we're trying to game the algorithm, guys. We gotta grow this podcast so we can become billionaires.
No, we gotta grow this
like the
podcast because
Cullens.
Justin's like, can we get a new thing? Can we use a new program? I want a new program.
I want a different mic stand.
He's like, it costs money. I'm like, do we look? Do we look like we got that money? He's like, but I want it.
Yeah.
So leave us the review. Follow us, download, listen to us, and we appreciate it. My name's Blue. I forgot that I love to read.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
You sure about that?
Well, yeah.
Okay, I'm just saying I don't like to read.
We'll see you guys.
Jacob is literally the funniest shit I've ever seen. He turns himself into a pickle. He's Pickle Rick, Jacob.